So Trundle banned here. Renata left open. LNG take that. But EDG, you could go, the likes of, maybe Taliyah here, Poppy here, both really strong. Something to bear in mind as well is that, what is the best pairing with Renata? It's Kalista. Taliyah, Poppy. How can you play the game as Kalista? So, EDG could also deny Aphelios here if they want to make sure that LNG lean into the Kalista. But they definitely would take the Taliyah. That's a no-brainer. I'm interested to see what they bring out on this second pick because, yeah, there's a few options here.
And as you said, the Poppy big because it is Junjia starting. We didn't get to make a mention. JJ once again on the bench as he was in the last 2 games against RNG. So that Poppy is half of his play rate right now. It's going to be his most played. After this game, Aux, those 2 picks, you hit the nail on the head, means that they are giving away the Aphelios you also talked about to LNG.
Yeah, it has to be the Aphelios. One of the best pairings with Renata, but you can't pick Kalista into this. It's absolutely unplayable. Something else that is open is Gnar. I feel like Gnar is the best top player in the game. He's actually the highest presence champion on this new patch of any, not just in top lane. So, like, the fact that LNG pick him up, give them a really strong pick. And I think it probably has to be the Aphelios here for LNG. I'd want to secure that now before you go into the next rotation. And then the question is EDG. So they can answer the Gnar if they're really like, we need to be able to pick something for Flandre to have a good matchup. They could answer the AD carry role. Alternatively, if they're like, we don't want to see the pool get thinned more in the second rotation.
I'm really curious because EDG have had Vladimir banned against them almost 50% of the time. 40% is the actual stat, but it's close enough where I'm like, every single time we go into games like game 1, game 2, or game 3, EDG loses top laners. So against the Gnar here, Aux, it looks like it is instead going to be down towards the bottom lane, pick up the Kalista themselves. But I truly wonder if that Vladimir is worth talking about in your eyes, because again, EDG have always wanted to put Flandre on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a comfortable thing that you could ban away for LNG in the second rotation just to kind of eliminate it. But I feel like the bans will probably be focused towards the support role. Very interesting to see the Kalista come through because originally, Aphelios was being picked into Kalista specifically because, as much as the lane is fine for Kalista, in the later stages, Kalista is short range. So you have to get up to Aphelios. Aphelios will shred you at 3 items. You can't walk up to him or he will just massacre you. And LNG as well, you can start banning away the things that pair well with Kalista. Amumu is something that's been fantastic with Kalista that I fully expect them to ban. Nautilus is also something you can lean towards, although Renata is a pretty good matchup into it.
And Meiko's most played as well. The Amumu you called out quite nicely. I'll be looking for that Nautilus, the Leona there as well is something else we've seen rising back in the LPL. EDG taking a jungle route here though, Aux, and the Viego first to go. Trundle's already gone too. What else do you want to see taken from Tarzan?
Yeah, I think you could ban Wukong here. Ultimately, you're never going to ban Lee Sin just simply because you have Poppy Taliyah already. Wukong is manageable with what you have, but it kind of depends. Like, do you want to, as much as Poppy's a good matchup into it, thin that away, or do you want to go in another direction? And they actually go for a mid lane ban here with Silas, which, we've seen quite a bit. Obviously, the dashes do get shut down by EDG, but has still been such a powerful pick. And especially, the Amumu is banned, but if you're going to pick a support with a strong ultimate like Alistar, maybe, you do not want the enemy team to pick Silas into it.
Alistar's a good pickup. There's Nautilus that you also talked about. Right now, Aux, it's your birthday, and draft is coming at you, man. I don't know what wisdom comes with being 27. I didn't get any of that, but right now, it's all going to your brain. Walk me through a little bit more if we, get the support here. Counter pick for mid lane. Expectations for the rest.
Yeah, so I feel like you have so much flexibility here in terms of EDG because you can take your top lane, the matchup already.
Stop it.
Or you can take the support and they go for the Blitzcrank. So picking something aggressive that can actually punish the Renata Aphelios because they like to, kite backwards, use that space. If you get grabbed, you don't get that option. Don't often get a turnaround chance for a reset as well with a bailout when you get Blitzcrank hooked. So EDG going for a very aggressive bot lane. Now LNG, ideally you want a mid laner who's going to be able to be quite proactive, move around, make things happen. They go for the Swain, which, EDG have a short range comp that makes sense. You don't really want to hook a Swain into your team. And can also use that Visions of Empires from a distance. And now the jungler for Tarzan. You want something that can, be relevant in the early stages. You want something that can help assist. Because I feel like if bot lane gets left unchecked and Meiko has a really strong performance on this Blitzcrank, you could really see yourself struggling. And oh my lord.
What a draft. Okay. Well, if Blitzcrank ever hooks in Skarner, there's going to be some issues. I guess for Tarzan, throwing one back in the face of EDG Aux is the goal here.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect the Skarner to come out
Neither
today. somewhere Captain Flower's probably asleep at this point, but
Wake him up!
He's vibing right now. Wake him up! Absolutely. And EDG looks like they're just trying to secure a top laner for themselves, and they're going to go for this Gragas. So, tends to be a bit of a lane neutralizer, but not the best matchup on the Gnar because of that range discrepancy. Fares better in the melee champions, but very good into Skarner, into Swain. You can knock him away. You could knock the Skarner in. If Skarner ults one of your allies, you could just send him deeper into your team. And yeah, I mean, I feel like we've seen a bit of craziness today. I don't think I came in expecting a Blitzcrank. I certainly did not expect the Skarner. But both teams, I look towards the bot lane. This is such a volatile matchup. Whichever team manages to find momentum for this bot lane, it's going to make all the difference.
I'm excited, Aux. I feel like, again, already pulling a rabbit out the hat to start things off. For LNG and EDG, for both these teams when it means so much, pulling out a Skarner, a Blitzcrank on the other side is just an incredible way to start. Aux, quickly run me through, because when you said bot lane is so volatile, when bot lane is so important, I want to know more about how the matchup progresses, because we know that the Aphelios is going to outscale, right? But I'm more curious as to like the short range on both teams and how it interacts.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to team fights, I really like what the side of LNG have. I feel like the Renata Aphelios is going to be really hard to deal with, as with the short range that EDG have, and things like the Swain will thrive there. The Gnar as well, super powerful. But it all comes down to like whether you get there. And Blitzcrank is such a weird pick, just in terms of how different he is to every champion in League of Legends, because he can be super impactful, honestly, at any stage of the game. If you get the right grab at the right time, you get a pick off the back of that, boom, huge.
Jam ending,
but it could also be completely useless. It's like, do you hit the skill shot or do you not? And that's kind of how a lot of his lanes work. If you hit the rocket grab in lane, we're gonna see kills. If you don't, we won't. That is literally how it comes down to. So it's in the hands of Meiko, where they can find those opportunities, find those angles, and then continue to be useful throughout the game. Because Blitzcrank does tend to fall off in terms of how much you can impact a fight compared to Renata, but you can still just clutch the game. You just grab the right person, blow them up, boom. We win.
Yeah, and as you said, the lane is going to be where we start off first, right? If Meiko gets that within lane, Renata or Aphelios exposed, and it could be massive here for EDG, who, as we talked about in our opening segment, if you're just tuning in, Viper versus Light, where we hit the matchup, considering that both these AD carries right now have real strong points for their team. Scout, we also gave honorable mention, Doinb as well when we're looking over clips. And Aux, I feel like with, Tarzan coming back, with Junjia obviously being a better option for EDG, we have a lot of standout members that towards the end of the split are getting back towards that point that we had with our high expectations as usual.
I mean, you just look at the players we have in this game, and it is so stacked. There are so many talented individuals, and it's surprising that this is a game we're talking about being in, not exactly the bottom end, but the lower end of playoffs. These two teams still fighting to secure their spot, but that's where we are. And I'd be really interested to see how this, how the Skarner plays out, into the Poppy. I have seen before. It's kind of funny. You had a game recently in solo queue where, Skarner ulted one of my teammates, and my Poppy knocked the Skarner away. Didn't go well, obviously.
I didn't even think about that.
You don't want that to happen. You want to try and avoid that if possible. That is not ideal.
God. Oh, hook. Okay, there we start off here as Viper gets a small little trade. He's got lethal tempo, not Halo Blades, so Lumao takes a small burst.
1 for 1.
Aux, I absolutely love that you brought that up. I didn't even think about it. Keeper's verdict from Impale. That's an interaction I'll be looking out for in this game. Because, it's not every day that we do get a Skarner on Summoner's Rift. I feel like the last time we had Skarner was, a while back, where people like Karsa would play it. V5's jungler, even in spring, I think, brought it out. But speaking of junglers, Junjia already trying to get active here in the Blitzcrank lane.
Oh, nice knock away from Lumao. That might be enough, honestly. That might just be enough to stop the gank from happening. Yep. And Junjia will get spotted here, and he knows he's been spotted because obviously he just gets hit there. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is this fantastic gank setup in the bot lane with this Blitzcrank, but you have to find the angle. And LNG, they're prio. They're using that. They're going so aggressive here.
Getting the movement speed from the Crystal Spire. Tarzan as well has so much mobility early. Meiko angling for a hook, but Junjia, as he starts his blue buff again, looks like LNG will make the safer play as Scuttle spawns, and Tarzan will have the first one of the game. And in fact as well, Aux might even have topside if he wants, but LNG have got something else on their mind. If this invade keeps going, Lumao and Light are leading.
Yeah, they're just refusing to give him space, and Doinb even slams down the Visions of Empire, gets himself to stack, and just pokes out Junjia a bit. Ultimately, EDG don't really lose anything at the back of that. You know, they didn't get the scuttle, but with that prio that was available to LNG, EDG we're not getting it anyway. And now Junjia's heading up to get the top scuttle, so all things considered, LNG attempted the play. They don't find anything from it as a result.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about how it could progress, though, as we try 1-for-1 scuttle. And what we're kind of looking for, is it just a simple level 6 here with Taliyah through mid, with, you know, Poppy and Skarner interactions we talked about? Is there something more that we should be looking out for, or are you kind of just looking at that mark too?
I mean, once you have the 6 available for Scout, that really helps you lean in the side lane. Oh, bit of aggression, but Skarner's here.
But the problem is Tarzan, is here. So Viper now needs a kite back as Graviton comes through. The spy hits the flash from Viper. Gets the rend. That is a gigantic rend with Light getting first blood, but Viper still making himself look good.
Yeah, fantastic play from Viper. Seeing the window, and this is the thing, because LNG's bot lane spent so long in the enemy jungle, they fell behind in experience. Lumao wasn't level 3. If he had the bailout, you can't do that trade, because obviously you just get the reset coming in. But here, Meiko goes aggressive because they want to try and crash the wave in, not expecting Tarzan to be there. But then imagine this situation. If the W is there for the Renata, you know, Viper would be able to just kill Light, and then the reset comes in. But that damage, the spears stacked up with a level 2 target, does so much work. And look at the bot lane now. 15 CS lead for Viper.
Yep. And you saw the wave there in the replay, Orcs. It was building up, pushed into turret, not much that Lumao could do. And then hence, as you just mentioned, the 15 CS lead in the bottom side is shown on our screen. A kill for a kill, Berserkers with longsword versus a Carl Boots and Dagger. A big difference now that Light's going to have to deal with in this Kalista lane. Is I'm just going to pause because we're looking at top lane. Arla is going for the turret. And we didn't actually get to talk about this top lane, Orcs. It has been panned to see for quite a while. And Arla now back on the Rift, and we didn't get a chance to mention it.
Yeah, I was so critical of Arla in spring, but I think his summer performance has been better, and obviously Pandasy struggled. So far, playing pretty well in the lane, you know, harassing the Gragas on the tower, making him use his mana as a CS lead, but now it looks like we might get a big battle in the bot lane. Tarzan is trying to find a window, but it's quite hard pre-6, right? That is a big difference maker, is having that ultimate available, but Light, it feels like he wants to try and set up the Gravitum for a route onto Viper. Remember, no sums on this Kalista. As I say that, Flandre, you know, a swing and a miss.
Yeah, it was a good hop timing from Arla, but absolutely, I had to pull out the timing for top lane before we run out, because LNG and EDG are both just constantly hovering around bot. As you said, for Tarzan, utility's not going to be there quite yet. Junjia is now a camp and a level ahead. But as Dragon looks to be under control, I mean, Light's going to be spotted out. Blast Cone's taken. Shove against the wall. He doesn't have cleanse. Rocket Grab flashed away from it in the nick of time. As that handshake looks clutch, Junjia's burning down. He flashes, but the auto reaches max range. Meiko now on the run without anything available, as Scout has the Weaver's Wall, but will he pull the trigger? Viper not doing much of the fight. He's out of summoners himself as 3 members jump on the beat boop, and down he goes. 4 now with Doinb. The never move, the jumping. Viper trying to kite it out, but it won't be the same as last play. A double kill going down, and Orcs, this was meant to be the slow matchup of today as Scout gets pulled back in, and LNG slap EDG in the face in this first 7-minute game.
Absolute disaster for EDG. We were talking about how they needed this bot lane to snowball. They look for a play, but they invest all their CC on a Light, and it doesn't connect because of the flash, right? Junjia comes in here, stuns Light into the wall. You can see the thought process, but Meiko not there in time, and look, the stun just times out, and as soon as that happens, Junjia has no cooldowns left. Meiko has no cooldowns left. Look at him. He just walks up and autos Tarzan. Not really doing much there. And Viper knows he has to get out of dodge. Yeah, so just a massive overstep, and LNG willing to bring it. And then it's not even that. They also get Meiko, and then Viper caught too by Lumao. Tries to go for the trade kill here, but isn't rewarded this time. And LNG in a fantastic spot off the back of that play. You know, we were talking about Light being in a deficit, still 10 CS down, but 3 kills for the Aphelios is exactly what you need.
Yeah, who cares now, right? We didn't get a chance to see his items, but Light, Berserker's pickaxe, bit more damage to bring to this lane, and a 1k gold lead for LNG. And Orcs, we are now at the 6 point as well. Scout was able to use the Weaver's Wall in the last play, but remember that now we have Doinb with his ultimate almost back up and available. Tarzan now has the Impale too. And we still haven't fought over the Dragon or the Herald as well. Both objectives now stand up, and it's a big time to talk about where the priority should be.
I mean, you can see where it is. It's the bot lane. Tarzan is constantly...
Yeah, Meiko's trying to help out. Viper still without summoners apart from the heal. Down he goes. In the 2v2, EDG getting baffled. I never thought I'd say the day. As Light gets sent away, but Meiko is still so darn low as, again, the Fracture gets sent out by Tarzan. And as he chases down, EDG are getting destroyed by our 6 and 16.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the only positive aspect was that Meiko didn't die, but Viper goes down again. Good punish when the flash still isn't available. You can see it's about to come up for the Kalista. And LNG, they know the win con in this game for EDG is the bot lane. This Kalista and this Blitzcrank want to be ahead. They want to be making plays, being aggressive. And now they're just so deep in a hole because the Tarzan's play towards the bot side. They're also picking up the Dragon off the back of this. This is a fantastic position. I just think it's a struggle because eventually, if you fall behind with this lane that EDG has, you start to question, if we grab Light, do we still win? And that is such a horrible position to be in as a Blitzcrank. If you grab the AD carry, do we still win? And I feel like it's going to get to the point where I'm not really sure, especially with 6 coming in for Luma, which is a great turnaround ability. Yeah, it's starting to get difficult for EDG. And they really need to find some options here. Herald is still on the cards. If they can secure that, that might be the influx of gold they need.
But look, Tarzan's just heading right up. I mean, for LNG, making sure that EDG don't have any options at all. A mid being pushed out by Scout as Meiko makes the roam, looking for the rocket grab, gets Doinb as he knocks him up. Remember that they need to burst him down before that ulti comes through. A good never move as Ignite's ticking as well. Heals up with the passive. That'll keep him alive alongside the pots as Doinb just manages to survive, but hey, at least for EDG Aux, that will be enough to move towards the Herald safely. Yeah, really good roam. You know, Doinb doesn't have TP. He doesn't even have summon a spellbook, so it's not like he can switch to it. And EDG, that grab, although it doesn't result in the kill, it's enough pressure to get the Herald. And yeah, EDG needed that by all means. And we'll have to see what they're going to be able to do with the Herald. Ideally, influx of gold for Viper is the no-brainer. But they need to find a window, need to find an opportunity to make that happen. And, you know, Tarzan has his Impale back up once again. Such a powerful tool in these skirmishes if he can get on top of his target. So, looking to see where he moves. It might be bot lane once again. We know
it's really a consistent theme.
Yeah. Dude, look at Tarzan on the map. He's like, oh, there's a red buff up. Hang on, guys. He even shadowed Brush before just to back and see if he could find something. As red buff gets taken, as Lumao and Light once again set up deep vision, you just look at that line of sight. There's nothing from EDG until we get towards that mid lane wave with the control ward. And for Tarzan, still continuously finding angles. As you said, that ulti with Flash now paired up means that anything could happen with Meiko and Viper. Good luck to them.
I mean, look at the vision control on the bot side. Like, wards all over the place from LNG. Control wards being put down, sweeping it out. And I feel like it's not even just the ganks. It's also Doinb. Any chance he can, he just walks a little bit towards bots, puts his W down. It must be so annoying for EDG's bot lane. And they're continuing to apply this pressure, pushing in quite deep into the enemy jungle. We had a bit of a zoom in on the map behind. Oh, and Tarzan steals. Oh, man.
God.
Can't
Going
catch a
from
break.
bad to worse. You can't. I mean, it's only a 1.3k gold lead, but we're looking at LNG controlling this early game absolutely to a T. And as we look at the CS on the board as well, like, just note that mid might be down, but bot down 22. You've got a 3 kill lead over your enemy AD carry. You still have a bounty on Light. Doinb right now an attempted gank as Meiko is trying to run towards the mid lane Orcs. And hey, at least EDG trying to counter punch.
Yeah, looking for the opportunity to punish mid. Get some gold for Scout, hopefully, if he can get in range of this. Not actually sure if he wants to. Okay, he should just walk up here using the move speed yet. So just get that. Making that mid tower weaker, obviously, you know, we talk about this quite a bit. You'd love to be able to take a full tower on the side lane, but EDG clearly think that's just not viable. They'll take the gold mid and then try and move and just make sure they have coverage bot. But look what's happening. 2 plates down already. And EDG, you know, the bot lane is bleeding. They need a sort of response to come in here.
Oh, never moves great. Tarzan's here once again. The fracture beautiful, but the impale! There it is! Orcs, it worked beautifully because now he's under turret. What a beautiful combo, and I'm so glad we finally get to see it.
Junjia, you played yourself. You did it to yourself. Oh my lord, that went better. The fact as well, knocked in the tower, that went better than I could ever imagine. Great timing from Tarzan, and just a hilarious interaction.
You know, you can't kill yourself in this game, but that's as close to a self-kill as I've ever seen. Junjia is now 0-2, and Tarzan must be grinning from ear to ear. I mean, as you said, it keeps going from bad to worse. LNG have all the reins on this game, and there has not been a moment where we've seen EDG get as much of a punishment as that mid lane grab in the mid lane Aux. It's been few and far between.
Yeah, that's been that one window really into the game. Nothing else. Oh, I'm so glad we get a replay. The slow-mo, I hope, is needed. What a hilarious interaction. And you're coming with me, buddy. And yeah, stunned as well under the tower at the end. Definitely not how Junjia planned that one out, but that fantastic, honestly. Just great to see.
I'm so glad. You're on the money today. Like I said, birthday boy, it's your day, isn't it? We get the Blitz, we get the Skarner, and we get the... You really have, as even in the mid lane, we can say the same thing about LNG. You almost find Flandre. He's got the flash available, and he will get out, but as EDG move back towards the Dragon, LNG now with a HP bar advantage, Aux, and I'm looking this a bit risky as EDG still try to go 50-50 on this. We'll pause though, because Weaver's Wall comes in. The flash burnt too. Loom out with the hostile takeover is great, but the Fate's Call might turn it around. Flash from Junjia against the wall. They want this Aphelios, but Light is still full HP with shurikens galore. Explosive cask against the wall means nothing as Flandre jumps in, but no one can touch Light. Double, ready to turn to a triple if Viper walks back in. But EDG, their deaths at the making of this Aphelios, who's 6-1.
And honestly, it was actually a fantastic wall coming out from Scout. I thought that might have been enough to get them into the fight. But they don't find Light. That's the critical thing. They're not able to connect on the Aphelios. And the Swain as well, you can see how strong this pick is into EDG's comp. Viper can't auto Doinb without being in range. And so as a result, we see a situation like this where, as I said, really good wall that comes in here that cuts them off. And I think Junjia actually ends up having a bit of a misplay. So they kill Tarzan quite quickly. That's really positive. But here, Junjia ends up slamming the wrong target into the wall, gets Luma instead of Light, and as much as I'm not sure it would have made that much difference, definitely not the target you want. And here, Viper just stuck in range of Doinb, not even able to find the kill in the end.
We come back to live, though, bottom left. Dragon actually taken by EDG. I believe LNG reset on par as well, so at least there is one objective for EDG, but after that fight, almost a 4K gold lead. 16 minutes into the game. Aux, you were saying EDG needed this bot to get ahead. They are a comp that we also talked about them being shorter range. Now Aphelios, even Doinb in a comfortable position, it looks so hard as we transition to this mid game.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult. I think they're honestly going to have to look to have really intelligent things like Weaver's Wall, going for picks with the Blitzcrank. That is the route in, because in a 5v5, I mean, I even feel like that last fight was like a good 5v5 in how it initially got set up with the wall, but it's just not enough. And the thing is, like, you know, so many champions on the side of LNG, Gnar, Skarner, and the Swain really are hard to deal with in your short range, because if you're in range to hit them, they're in range to decimate you. And that doesn't even include the fact that this bot lane for LNG is so strong. And now EDG trying to make a play for this Herald. I don't think you can do this. The fact they've already grouped over here means, you know, they're not getting anything else elsewhere on the map. Meiko throws a grab, it doesn't hit, and now they just leave, but they get nothing.
Yep. Nothing on the other side of the map. Absolutely nothing that they have to hold over LNG. As that Herald goes down, even the mid lane turret will be well defended. And further to your conversation, Aux, I mean, feel like Doinb, look at the value he has on Swain right in front of you. Meiko gets caught. Explosive cask is great, though, and Flandre gets a trade kill as the Fate's Call gets Meiko out. Doinb flashes for it. The never move, the Demon Flare doesn't need to be burned, but Doinb is turning into a demon as Agent 007 gets a kill. Junjia sends him away to stop the play, but a 2-for-1 again in favor of Li Ning.
This is a problem. They get a pick, but it's not enough, right? In the extended fight, you're struggling to get away. And this is only going to become more problematic once Doinb has that Rylai's. Once you're in his range, you ain't getting out. And now, got to use that second Herald mid, looking for the tower here. Flandre does avoid getting caught there, but they never move. But still, LNG expanding that lead. Speaking of leads, look at top lane. 40 CS up in the matchup between these two.
Yep.
Ola has been having a fantastic return to the Rift.
Oh yeah, especially after we've been watching Fantasy struggle in the lanes. Arla a better piece of medicine, but Aux in this replay. I mean, it's a good pick, it's a good return from Flandre, but just the Skarner ultimate value.
Yeah, and something we always talk about with Skarner is the tax, right? The QSS tax. It's inevitable that Viper's going to have to pay that cost if he wants to be able to team fight. But you're already so far behind. You're already in the hole, and you can see he's still trying to just finish off his skin suits. He wants that 2-item spike on the Kalista, but it just means you're a prime target for this Skarner. And even there, like, they get the grab on a Lumao. That should be good. That's how you want to start fights, is you pick someone off, and it still isn't enough. It's still not enough to find the advantage. Now, they are leading towards the bot side of the map. This is a good window for this. It's 45 seconds till Baron, so it's not like they can go for that in return, and they may have found Arla here.
Weaver's wall, shove against the wall. Arla with no Mega Nava. Meiko needs a rocket grab here, maybe to finish it off as he flashes away. Teleport as well, hops over the minion. Gets a distance as EDG committing 5 members. As you said, nothing on the other side of the map. Scout burns the flash, but 5 members to kill this cute creature, and this is going to be the cost.
Yeah, it took so long. It invested so much, so many flashes. The fact they had to use the teleport from Flandre as well, that is where it gets really costly. I said there was no Baron on the other side of the map, sure, but they managed to take the tier 2 tower mid, and they may look to get a little bit more on this top tier 2 as well. You can see EDG are now here responding. We'll just use the ult from Poppy to try and zone them away.
Yeah, cooldown there, Aux.
Yeah, just cancel it for the shorter cooldown, yeah, but still such a massive loss.
Yeah, I was kind of curious to say whether Meiko goes for the hook. He flashes over the wall, and, well, bye to Junjia once again.
Yep.
Just gets caught out by Tarzan, who is styling on this Skarner. I don't know if he's awake yet, but there's a certain man in North America that needs to see this. As a seismic shove sends Tarzan back, but it's all that needs to be done as LNG are cleaving through the world champions. I mean, Arla's back, but we're also getting the coordinated team play we got with Panda C as well.
Man, LNG are back. Where's this LNG been throughout this split?
About
I'll be real. Yeah, this has been fantastic play for them. And even though obviously, you know, they've had series wins, I've still, every time they've played, I've been questioning it. And this game so far, it's early days, but they've looked really convincing. Dragon up in 10. They have the Hex Gates as well to get out of the base. And EDG, I think they might try and look for a pick here, but be careful what you wish for. The Visions of Empires will spot them out and they have to back away. I don't think you can contest this Dragon, but it looks like they're going to try.
Okay, well, EDG tried with the last Herald as well, so I wouldn't be surprised as it starts off, hoping for the Ren. Doinb now with the flanking angle. They start on Tarzan with the explosive cast, but as he gets the bailout, even without an ulti, Tarzan surviving for his life until Flandre runs into him. Doinb separated as well. Another knockup as Doinb's about to drop as he goes golden. Arla's ulti can have value, but Light still with the teamfight carry. Flandre hits him up, and LNG Aux, was it too soon? Did we curse them? Aux, was it too soon? Viper's gonna get rend, Arla's gonna die. Lumao the last standing here, and just as we say, they're looking great. LNG get absolutely swept.
We actually just kissed them. LNG said it right before the fight. Oh my lord, and they drop 0 for 5, and now, I mean, this is the Kalista as well. Could be almost impossible to secure it. It's just so messy, right? Doinb goes for the super long flank, but like the rest of the team on there, Arla's like, I want some of this action. I was like, guys, the fight's already started. Tarzan is already basically dead at this point. Junjia with a fantastic knockaway, but it just ends up so messy, so split from the side of LNG. They just got overconfident. I feel that's the only way I can sort of explain it.
Yeah.
But just mind-blowing to be that far ahead, to be that comfortable in this game, maybe a bit too comfortable, I feel.
Maybe. I mean, I know EDG's forte has always been these full-on 5v5s, mid to late game. We've known EDG is a great team fighting team, but this goes beyond that. LNG just so separated. And Aux, you know, this is the criticism we've given them. And as we look back at this game that felt done, that felt so clean from LNG, we now have to reevaluate a little bit because Scout now with the bounty, Flandre with the bounty, Viper is getting back some of the gold that he lost so hard in lane. It is now even, and EDG got the last dragon, so it's not like LNG are going to be able to force an early soul either.
Yeah, and I still like LNG's composition as it goes late in the game.
Of course.
But that has done so much. That has done so much for EDG. You can see Viper has his core items and a QSS in pocket now, right? Scout's builds coming across nicely. Flandre has 3 full items, picking up a lot of gold from that fight. For a game that seemed like LNG firm control. Completely lost it after that. Now, they are going to be able to pick up that bot tower. Nice play from Ale. You know, enemy team has Baron. Able to get something on the other side is definitely a positive. But EDG is just going to continue trying to make things happen. As I say that, though, Tarzan, he's fishing for something.
But no one else beside him. I mean, Arla, without the TP, Doinb just holding back in the wave. And yeah, the ward going to be a good compromise in the situation. As you said, LNG able to pick up a turret of their own, but as topside goes down, there is still a bit of gold to be taken here with all inner turrets available for EDG. Baron going for another minute 10 as well, Aux. And I want you to walk me through the setup here and how you start utilizing the even game that you have all of a sudden with people like Meiko, people like Scout that have such great pick potential in situations like this.
Yeah, so one of the problems is at the moment, you don't actually have that deep vision. Just on the fact that like that fight kind of came out of nowhere. So you want to push the lanes in, push into the enemy jungle like we're seeing Junjia and Meiko do here. With that mid push, they can start to establish vision, start to contest. If they find anyone, ideally go for a pick.
Got him! Oh my god, he got him! Meiko from 0 to hero this game. I tell you what, that blitz pull Aux, like you said, means so much at any point in the game.
Absolutely, easy pick. And now that wave was being pushed in the bot lane by Flandre, they can just move over with the wave that was stacked up, get this tier 2 bot lane, extra influx for gold of them, now pretty significantly ahead. They're going to keep pushing with this cannon minion. Don't think they'll be able to take the tower here, but they have to respect Meiko with the grab. And the wall's actually going to be enough. Fantastic from EDG.
Beautiful. I mean, great usage from Scout means that the turret just goes down. And for EDG, breaking the base in this first game that seemed impossible. Tarzan and Arla going for a flank though. Meganar, the Hex Gate could be huge here. Arla looking for the better angle as he still has the flash available. Mega's about to pop 5 members, he goes the other way. Doesn't want to take it here. Tarzan still trying to go in. Blast cone's there. Flash still. 3-man. Might be enough, but the Fates call the disengage. Keep his verdict. See you later, Doinb. And EDG just yeet him out and yeet out themselves.
Did you see the wings flapping when he went through the air? Swain trying to fly there. And yeah, I mean, the angle looked good, but unfortunately only able to catch Meiko with the follow-up. You know, Gnarl into the wall, but then the stun after only hit the Blitzcrank. Fate's goal kept him safe. Junjia knocks them away. And LNG struggling to find anything there. They lose the bot lane inhibitor tower. And now looking at that dragon in 45 seconds. The gold's still pretty even. You know, Light's still strong. He's got 3 items on this Aphelios. But yeah, EDG in prime position to set up for this objective. You can see Tarzan, Doinb, not even on the same side of the map. It looks like they are uninterested in this dragon completely.
It's going to mean Soul comes up next here, and whether LNG like it or not, we are going to get or not, I should say, get a 5v5. A Viper clearing the mid wave for now as Tarzan just goes and puts in some deep vision, but Viper's so aggressively heading forward. And as Light shows himself as well, instead of going straight to the dragon, as Meiko forces the flash. That's from Lumao. These hooks are getting closer, Aux, and EDG are getting more confident to go for objectives like this.
Yeah, Viper has to be a bit careful. They're taking some damage, but yeah, Meiko constantly threatening, and LNG, you know,
Meiko, oh! Did it again! Beep boop, what are you gonna do? Meiko with the hook once again means so much as EDG hover around LNG, want to pick off the back end, but Meiko's starting to look real juicy for an MVP if EDG win this.
I mean, this is how it goes with the Blitzcrank. If you land the grabs at any point in the game, you can just take people out. And Lumao is this immobile, vulnerable target. Meiko did a fantastic job. And LNG, you know, their team fight, the way their comp works is very effective, but they're not even getting a chance to do. Wait a minute.
Hang on. All right. Well, Tarzan and Arla by himself, but everyone's taking the Hex Gate. The boys are here. Meiko with yet another hook. The Skarner is going to stand in place while EDG laugh at him. A Fate's call as LNG with their strongest member once again sent away. Aux now it's only Doinb as yet another hook hits. A seismic shove, a confidence play. Doinb buying time as he gets the bailout. A really good never movers. LNG get 2 back. Now onto Viper. Arla tries, but this Kalista kiting out, Ren's down. Explosive cast. Look at Viper go. Lumao's next, and you can never count out the deadly snake of EDG.
So many things went wrong, and in the end, EDG managed to pull it back. That was such a crazy passage of play. I can't wait for the replay to go through it. but EDG managed to find the edge now. Junjia's still down, but Tarzan, he's not even interested in heading over, would really struggle to get into the pit against the likes of this Taliyah, against this Gragas. And Baron's going to be secured by ED. Oh my, I want to see the replay for this. It was an absolute fiesta.
Yeah.
Absolute madness. So many things on both sides just went horrifically wrong. Yeah, so first off, Tarzan trying to go for this pick. Doesn't factor in that all of EDG are going to be using the Hex Gates in this one. He's checking the passports as they come through. EDG aren't happy with that, and they take him out. But then EDG, they make their own overstep. They try and go too far forwards, and you get the knock away from Junjia, but then Doinb, not the target you want to grab, honestly. Pulling him into range of your team, and despite the stun, he's able to do so much damage.
Look at this.
But Hysterics, that, you know, my most painful moment is what comes from light a little later.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't think he thought about it. You're playing a dashless champion, you don't factor this in. But look, he gale forces over the unraveled earth and stuns himself right in front of Viper. Sets it up, right? It's like a little present for him. Oh no, it's just getting worse. Hysterics.
Oh, this game sure is a great intro to the series, though. Let's be real. As we come back, EDG are going to be looking for this top side turret. But hey, with Flandre mid as well, it could be more. Doinb with an angle.
Again.
But he's on a ward. I mean, the gates have been used nicely, but Skarner goes in. Tarzan going on to buy time. Flandre now has his angle on Doinb as Viper flashes the Fate's Call as well. They knock him up. He gets Sonya's again, but look at the other front line. Arla with only a one-man knock-up, and Doinb's dead. Arla's about to die. He can't jump out. Thanks to Junjia, LNG had this game so firmly, Orcs, and now EDG looks like they could possibly end.
They might just be able to. I mean, I don't know what the play was there. Light wasn't there. He got knocked away by Junjia. Really fantastic poppy ult. And now they're just going to look for the end. If Meiko lands a grab, the game is just over. But honestly, even if he doesn't, I think they could just push it in and look to finish it off.
Watch Meiko once again. Tarzan runs forward. Does he need it? Yes, he gets light. He gets light. Get beat. Boop. Meiko is the Blitzcrank of your nightmares. EDG are going to win this game out against all odds of what we saw in the early game. LNG still with their problems, but EDG bring that X factor into the start of this series.
What was that game? That was fantastic, amazing, but also just such a mess. But a great game from EDG and Meiko. You know, we were critical, didn't think he'd have the best split even year. That was a true carry performance, just making Lumao have the roughest time possible in this Renata. The confidence to bring out the Blitzcrank pick, and then losing lane. Lane was a disaster for EDG. And I was saying, right, you need this lane to get ahead. Apparently not. Apparently Meiko will just win the game. And that is the power of the Blitzcrank pick, is that at any point of the game, it can kind of just single-handedly do that, right? Even if you're behind, just as long as you grab the right person, there's almost always a squishy target where if you grab them, the fight ends up winning, as long as you're not too far behind. And EDG found it, I guess. I guess they just did.
Oh, God. The picks were great from Meiko, but I think the biggest thing was LNG, that fight towards Dragonhawks. That's the only thing I'm going to focus on, because that fight was showing what LNG are doing this split, why LNG are a team questioned so heavily by us, and whether they're going to make a play up front, because they can look so great in the game. Tarzan can look in control, Doinb a supportive player, like the bottom lane 2v2, dominated, and then a play like that happens where they're all over the place, and LNG show us again why they are on the verge of playoffs right now.
Yeah, I mean, Tarzan was looking at like an MVP Skarner performance if that carried on, and now losing, and remember, we hit on at the start of the day, this is not like a meaningless series. These teams aren't locked into playoffs. These teams are still towards the lower end. They need wins. And now LNG 1-0 down to EDG in a game that they should have won. Look at the goal graph. They were almost 6k in the lead. They have Renata, Aphelios, fantastic scaling bot lane. They have a really good team fight. And then just too many mistakes, too many fumbles ended up costing them so heavily.
Oh, and you know, it's a standard LPL graph, a lot of people will say, but we really haven't seen as many flips as people would expect. And for EDG, like, God, Meiko got so many great picks in that game. You can see Scout gets the best KDA, but Orcs, I will say, the Weaver's Wall didn't start coming in until after that dragon fight, until, you know, we started sieging and EDG started going for the inner and the base turrets, where Scout started to really show his use on the Taliyah and why in the mid game this pick is quite heavily feared.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Taliyah is just so strong in the moment. Always ends up doing like so much damage. You don't think about it that much, but it's just that consistent damage over the course of the fight, constantly throwing out your Q, but then also the power of the Unraveled Earth. Even like the thing is, we saw an early Taliyah pick, so LNG didn't really opt into many dashes, but that Gale Force from Light ended up being so costly because you could tell what the thought process was. I'm going to dash in a Viper, pop him, ends up just completely miscalculating him. But that threat, the Unraveled Earth, the seismic shoves, great pick potential. And it just meant when we had these rocket grabs coming in, the target was just certainly just going to go down immediately. So EDG, they managed to pull it off, but they still have a full series to sort of round out on this one. It's just one game.
Yeah, it's only one game. We'll see where it goes. We're going to go to a break and hopefully get a rendition of that first game coming up next.